Hi everyone, in today's video I'll be answering questions I often get from people curious about UX design, especially those who are trying to switch careers or work remotely like I do here in Vietnam. So I wanted a career that blended creativity and tech. I was browsing through Reddit threads, I started reading books, watching YouTube content, and just looking through courses on Udemy, or at that time I think I was looking at Coursera. I didn't take a boot camp, and looking back, I'm so glad I didn't take a boot camp. And I don't have any formal degree in design. So how long did it take me to land my first job? It took me around 8 to 10 months to land my first job, or maybe it was a year. I can't really remember exactly. So during that time, I spent applying, working my case studies, refining it, and then learning from my mistakes. And yeah, this included a lot of rejections too, and really bad, visual design. It was more of my awkward moment of my career. Yeah, I think it's very hard to break into UX now. It's harder than it was 4 years ago, just because the barrier of entry is lower. UX, you don't really need a formal degree. The boot camps help, but they're not going to guarantee you anything. Junior level designers going into market, and it becomes quite saturated. The higher you go, it's more competitive too. So yeah, it's definitely tougher than it was 4 years ago, realistically speaking. The big change in UX design now is just the use of AI tools in the workflow. So now you can plug in a design or requirement and it can spit out like a design. And it might not be the best, you still have to have taste, but yeah, I think now there's going to be a shift of not just the visual designs that are important. Well, there has always been, right? But it's going to shift to the soft skills being that much more important. For example, clearly communicating your design, your rationale, focusing on the process, the design thinking process, and really knowing what to do and when to do it. So here I would really focus on communication, research skills, and then also product strategy, or just strategy in general. Like I mentioned, AI definitely has changed my workflow. I use it to review copy, layout advice, and then also best practices. And I'm very careful of how I use AI here. I wanted to use it more as a sparring partner to uncover any blind spots in my thinking or the design, things I'm not might not be looking at. So it's sort of like a stress test, and I'm stress testing my ideas and my process with AI. So that's one thing that I've used AI a lot for. So I might be repeating myself, but like I said before, I really think your judgment and your taste from all the experience you've gathered as a designer, AI will take you to like 90% there, but you gotta make the decision at the very end. Again, I try not to treat AI as a crutch, meaning I don't want to be over-reliant on AI tools, but I do want it to use it as a tool to help me with the design or my thinking. Should I still learn UX design in 2025? I think, yeah, but it really depends on the person. So if you're looking for a quick buck or a job that pays well and you're only in it for the money, I wouldn't say, yeah, UX design is for you. I'd say UX design is for you if you are a curious person, you're okay with continuous learning, and you're just fine with ambiguity, and you're okay with uncovering problems, especially if you like tech, and then also designing solutions. So I think that's it for you. But if you're, like I said, if you're in it just for the money, I think there's other things you can do just for money or the title, because UX design is mentally exhausting after a while. There's like so much you have to learn in terms of research, visual design, best practices, the whole process, and then communicating it. There's probably things I'm missing, but those are like the main ones, and that's already a lot. So if you're a little bit older and you are not okay with putting in a couple years for UX design and to learn and to grow, and you may feel like, yeah, you're just too old for it, then you might have to rethink it. That's just the truth. That's just the fact. And also, if you can't take criticism well, then yeah, that might not be right for you, because in the very beginning, when you're starting to learn, you will not have the taste for design yet, and your feedback can come in pretty, it's going to come in, come at you, right? And you have to learn you have to learn to take that feedback. Oh, and I also say, like, if you enjoy looking at it from the user perspective, I think it's a good feel for you too. If you like to empathize with what people are feeling, how would they be using the design, and you like to create the solutions from their perspective, yeah, it's good. I also would consider user research, being a user research specialist, if you really enjoy that part of design. I had mentioned earlier, but again, I don't think people that are not comfortable with ambiguity, soft skills, and communication should go into UX design, because it requires a lot of those, and then the time to learn and get better at all three, at least. And that's not even including the other things within research. So it's a lot to learn. You might have to really decide for yourself if it's right for you. So what should new designers focus on in 2025? I think designers should focus on three things. And the first one is learning to solve the right problem. Second is clarity in your decisions and your thinking. And lastly, third, it's understanding the product context and then also the constraints. So the traps I would avoid when I'm first starting off UX design is just over polishing your portfolio visuals. Of course, the first impressions is important, but then after that, it's basically diminishing returns. I'd focus more on having the right depth in the case study. So what are you trying to solve, and how are you including customers, users into your process? Think about that, and think about like what type of problem it is, because I don't want to give anyone the idea of you got to narrow down, but it's true. If you're trying to find job in a certain industry, then it might be better if you have relevant case studies. That's just the main thing. But in the very beginning, I wouldn't limit yourself just to those industries. Try a lot of different things, be unique, solve different types of problems, because being a thoughtful designer here is more important than just the flashy visuals. Getting caught up in all the tools like Figma and plugins, they're really nice and they help you with what you're trying to do. But if you stay too fixated on using these plugins or having the nicest shiny thing, then it kind of derails you from really focusing on the UX design process. And skills like interviewing, researching skills, planning are equally important, if not more important sometimes. And another thing is comparing yourself to people on LinkedIn. And this is what happened to me. I would jump in LinkedIn and I look at all these posts. For me at the time starting off, they were just extra noise. So yeah, LinkedIn is good, but then it can also kind of distract you, and it can also make you compare yourself to other people. When you're first starting off, you just gotta focus on improving as fast as you can. So LinkedIn is a way, but I don't think it's the most efficient way. So if I could give a piece of advice to my younger self, I would say that be patient in everything. Like, be patient with rejection, be patient with your failures, because after each failure is an opportunity to learn. And being a mature designer who is striving to be better and better each time, those mistakes is going to help you in the long run. If you're making a mistake with your portfolio, or you're making a mistake in the interviewing process, or when you're designing something that just isn't the best, you can always learn why it didn't work out. And like I mentioned earlier, I'd also focus on going deeper on case studies, not having so much information on the case studies, but really thinking it through, thinking these case studies with a lot of thought and care, and thought and care to the user, and thought and care to the problem, and then also the solution. So I think more senior designers will see that, and see that how much effort you put into a case study rather than just redesigning it just for the sake of redesigning something. And lastly, what I tell my younger self is to speak about my decisions with confidence. That's confident when you're talking to stakeholders or when you're in an interview. You designed it the way you designed it for a reason. You got to articulate or explain why you did it. It might not be the right way, but it's the way you did it. And if you have good rationale, which is just being able to explain why you did a certain thing, then people will respect that. And you got to stick to your guns a lot of the times. Sometimes when you're very new, you just want to switch back and forth, wishy-washy. But like now, I'm a little bit more mature and I've seen a little bit, I don't know, I've just been designing longer. So I feel that having that confidence and in your design and that confidence in the decisions you make, people will have confidence in you. And if you're hired to do a good job, you need that confidence. So yeah, those are those couple tips for my younger self. So this is obviously all of my own personal experience. Everyone's situation is different. I just hope that you got something from this video and it can help you in your UX design journey. If you're curious or interested in more videos like this, leave a comment below if you have a question, and then subscribe to the channel, and I'll try to upload more videos on UX design, specifically someone working remotely from here in Vietnam. Anyways, guys, hope you guys have a good one. Peace out. Bye.